So, Randy, it looked like today on Lake Murray was going to be a great day for everybody because the first fish caught was a big one. You caught it, but it did turn out that way. So, kind of talk about the way that the day happened.
Yeah, with the and during the Mercury ride around this morning, it was just very beautiful lake. I mean, lots of grass, lily pads, just reeds. I just thought, man, we're gonna really bust them here today. And then starting out and catching one on the buzzbait, then catching a 6, 7, and I thought, man, we're getting ready to just have an awesome day on this lake. And then it kind of went down the tube from there once the heat and the sun and all that. So it kind of got really difficult afterwards.
Randy, your previous best or biggest catch, I guess I should say, is 5 pounds for Major League Fishing. Obviously, that big fish that you just were talking about, a little bit bigger today. So, how does
Yeah.
that kind of feel to set a new personal best in addition to winning the round today?
Yeah, it was great to have a 6.5 pounder almost in competition. I always say I don't want to ever waste a big one. I want it to be in competition when I catch one, and so it gives you confidence, it gives you momentum, and in a tough event like this, you know right off the bat that you've got a four. It's like catching 4 or 5 little fish basically, and so it just kind of gave me that confidence and set me up really to win the rest of the day. And I didn't want to I wanted to take advantage of that big bite and not screw it up by not catching anything else to go with it. So it all worked out in the end.
On a day like today where you know there are those big fish in the lake, does that change how you fish or what you're looking for or what you're throwing?
Well, catching that one being on top water like that early, that's kind of I knew in a hot weather time of the year, water temperature in the mid 80s, that those big bites usually only come early in the morning during that shad spawn early. So I knew when I got that one, it may be difficult to get another one, but I did have one more bite similar to that size that didn't hook up. But then it just the rest of the day, no matter what I did, I tried to make changes. I stuck with that. I went through a lot of baits, a lot of techniques, and just really never could get any more big bites.
Can you kind of describe the weather and tell us how it affected you as an angler and how it affected these fish?
Yeah, the weather was just super hot and humid. I mean, nearly 100% humidity and mid upper 80s. And luckily, we started getting a little bit of a breeze blowing in a few areas, and I think that helped the fishing pick up in that third round. You noticed a lot of guys started making a comeback, catching some fish, and I think that wind kind of helped with that. But anytime it's hot and humid and it's post spawn after the fish have just spawned out and they're just starting to move out off the bank again, that's just kind of the hardest time of the year to catch numbers and catch big fish, or after that first hour. So first hour is very important.
Randy, it's been you've fished MLF for a handful of years now, but it's been a few months since you've competed in this particular format. Do you get rusty at the format at all, or how does it feel to be back into this particular swing?
It feels really good and it is exciting. But I was a little rusty from just remembering everything. We had a few new rules to remember, and and I actually messed up today and told Dave Lefebvre as we're going by, I was excited about catching that big fish on a buzzbait, and I told him, man, that big fish smoked my buzzbait this morning, and I was actually not meaning to give him information, but that was kind of a new rule that we don't supposed to do, and and I said they had to tell everybody what I told, and it was kind of a then I was a little on the edge after that. I was like, man, I got to not mess up and break any more rules, because I got one penalty today for fish not falling off, but I jerked a small fish into the boat and he kind of bounced off the trolling motor and went out the other side, and got a penalty for that. Otherwise, I kind of got back in the swing of things about the second period, so it was fun.
Um, Obviously, you had great success on your baits tackle today. Are you have any plans on changing it going into sudden death?
Well, depending on the type of water we end up going to in sudden death, I assume it'll be different because we all fished a full Lake Murray, in this round here. So I'm sure we'll have to end up going to a different type of place. So, I'll always prepare for that same type of fishing just because that's what we just did. But, the way Major League Fishing does, we might go to a deep clear lake and totally have nothing to throw at on the shore. It might be an offshore type event. So I've got to make sure you got everything ready, and just you never know what's going to get thrown at you at this format.
Right.
Are you aware of any other bodies of water that are in this area, just from your previous experience or driving through, or does that affect what you're going to tie on today?
No, it really isn't. I didn't even know. Really, only reason I've ever heard of Ardmore, Oklahoma, is called Jeff Creek's from Ardmore, Oklahoma, and I've always heard that name. And I've passed through here on the interstate, but I've never known, about any bodies of water here at all. So I really, Lake Murray. I've seen the sign for Lake Murray, and then that's all I've ever seen. So I have no idea where we might end up going from here.
So this was a really strong start to your MLF season. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. It feels good when we work hard and we do our best, and and our goal, each one of us each day, is to try to win that day. And point wise, this year is a really big year for me because me and Brandon Polinick are tied for first going into this season, trying to advance to the Cup events for the next year. And it's taken me longer to get there than I'd expected it to, and so I'm really fired up about getting a good start here and try to keep this momentum going the rest of the year.
So is this the year? Is this the year you're going to be a Cup angler?
I hope this is the year. I've had 1 or 2 days here or there that always prevented me from getting there, and hopefully I can keep this, like I said, this momentum, and this season will be my season that I'll be able to make it into the Cups for good, because I need to be full-time over there, that's for sure. But although I'd miss the selects, I kind of wish I could fish both, because this is fun too.
Randy, one last question. Could you talk just a little bit more specifically about the baits that you found success on today? Both in that topwater bite in the morning and then later on in the afternoon when things picked back up.
Yeah, my starting bait this morning, I thought when I saw all the debris in the water, grass, lily pads, and reeds, I knew a buzz bait may be good, and I knew a swim jig may be good, and then just other types of just swimming, buzzing type swim baits. So I rotated through all 3 of them really quick, but the buzz bait, what I caught those first 3 fish on, really over half of my weight came on the buzz bait. And then after the sun got up, I started throwing just a kind of a boot tail shad imitating swim bait, just buzzing it through the water shallow. And I was catching lots of fish. I had a lot of action, and that's what kept me confident all day that I was doing the right thing in the right area. I probably weighed 12 to 14 fish today that were 12 to 15 ounces, and never could get one of them over a pound. And then I swam a jig. I caught some swimming a jig that were small, and caught some flipping, and ended up catching that one keeper in the second period on that swim bait. And then I caught that final good keeper in the final round on a big 10-inch worm. So I kind of mixed it up, went out a little bit deeper, and got that last good keeper to kind of seal the deal. So that's kind of was my 3-period summary.
Awesome. I said that was the last question, but I lied. I have one more question. So you had a pretty commanding lead, obviously, from that big fish that you caught this morning all through the rest of the day. But there was a lot of movement on the rest of the score tracker, especially there at the end of the day. I mean, up to the last minutes of competition.
That's right.
So did you feel secure in your position? And then, if you did, and even if you didn't, how does that kind of play on the rest of the score tracker with the other 7 anglers affect you?
Yeah, I was getting a little nervous. Anytime you're not catching fish and you start hearing other people catch fish behind you, you get a little nervous. And that second period, Chris Lane hit a little momentum streak, and he was like, ding, 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 ding. He caught like 4 in a row in about a 2-hour period there, and he was catching up, and I hadn't caught one in a while, but I was still catching little ones. His were weighing 1 pound even, 1.1, 1.2, and mine were like 14 ounces, 15 ounces. So I kept thinking, surely I'm going to catch one soon. And then he finally cooled off, and then I caught another one, and then I got back ahead a little bit, and I started calming down, feeling pretty good about halfway through the 3rd period when I caught that last 2-pound change fish and got up to that 13-pound mark. And then he kind of settled down, but then JT Kenny catches a 5-pounder, basically nearly what I could, like the 6-pounder I caught, and then that could be a momentum builder for him. So I was hoping he wasn't on to something and he was getting ready to go boom boom and knock me down, because I really wanted to win. I mean, I felt confident that I was going to make the top 4 because the conditions were so tough. Nobody was catching a lot, but when I was leading all day, I didn't want to lose that lead. I wanted those points, so it all worked out good in the end.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on your win today, and good luck in sudden death.
I appreciate it.